Hey, this is Matt once again. What about the video? This is another paid request, this time from Splitsin91. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, he wanted me to review a film called Casper's Stair School from 2006. Now, I believe I reviewed the other Casper films. There's a 1995 movie, which I do like. Christina Ricci, Bill Pullman. The effects for the time I thought were well done. I did not grow up with the source material, but I thought the voice for Casper was well cast. I thought the uncles did their jobs well for what they need to be in the film. There was entertaining cameos. You had cameos with Clint Eastwood and Dan Aykroyd as a Ghostbuster. It's a fun family movie, Casper, from 1995. Now, there were direct-to-video sequels, A Spirited Beginning and Casper Meets Wendy. Was really big on those because the budget was much cheaper, and Casper trying to interact with the live-action humans, you could tell there was a big disconnect, and it just wasn't that funny. This one, I'm not a fan of, but it's not a raging rant because, number one, I think it was the right decision to go all animated for this. It's that cheaper CG looking animation. I prefer them going old school animation on this. I think that would have been better. Whether it be animation like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Scooby-Doo and such, or even like Scooby-Doo meets the Electric Werewolf, Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, like when they were doing those movies. Like animation of that style, or just, early 90s animated movies, Aladdin, Lion King, that style, I think would have worked better for this. Because the CG animation just does look cheap. I don't know how else to put it. But again, I do prefer that because at least you don't have it being this awkward interaction between them and live action, and you really do feel of the two completely different worlds aesthetic to it. It just becomes distracting. And I would say at the end of the day, this was a harmless kids film. If you have kids, I don't know, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, you could pop this in and the kid to watch and maybe enjoy it. It's short. I don't even think it's an hour and 20 minutes long. There's nothing like fart jokes, crap, like those jokes that are just raunchy or too juvenile for kids. Like I said, it's kind of an extended episode of a show you would see on, I don't know if I want to say Disney Channel or Cartoon Network, but it's just like I said, a harmless endeavor. There's not a whole lot for me to get that mad about. Casper's with his three uncles, Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso. I do think it was an interesting idea that the uncles are not mean to Casper. There's never a point that they're mean to Casper. Like he gets sent to stair school and the uncles miss him, and it's like, we lost our aunt long ago, we don't want to lose you too. So I thought, wow, they actually care about Casper. That was a refreshing change of pace. But of course, sadly, they're not in the film much. They pop up every once in a while. But like, hey, that's kind of, again, an interesting, different take on it. That the uncles are not the typical piece of shits to Casper. And the voices, I think it's John DiMaggio as Stinky, Bender from Futurama. And in fact, there are times he sounds exactly like Bender from Futurama. Because it's the same voice actor. I forget who voiced Fatso. I think it was Billy West. And Dan Castellaneta voices Stretch, the guy who voices Homer Simpson. Now, he doesn't sound like Homer Simpson, but he does sound... Dan Castellaneta would do other voices like reporters or other stuff, and even like... He sounds a little bit like Lenny from The Simpsons. A little bit like that. Like there's Lenny and Carl who are friends of Homer. Lenny, like I could tell it was Dan Castellano's voice after watching so many years of The Simpsons. But recognizable voice actors. Bob Saget, may he rest in peace. Him and James Belushi are in it. They're the voices of this two-headed headmaster of the school, and he becomes our main villain. I think it was nice to hear Bob Saget. Again, the way he died, I don't know about all that happened with how he died. I don't know. I'm not going to go into that whole thing. But I do remember him from Full House and even Dumb and Dumberer and other big parts of movies. The Dirty Work was one of them. Remember not minding him, Bob Saget? Again, and James Belushi I've liked ever since watching Red Heat with Arnold and K9 and The Principal with him and Louis Gossett Jr. Always did like James Belushi. And yeah, they play brothers who are two heads on the same body. They're the headmaster of the school. Pretty much this other character, Kibosh, comes in, who's a green ghost, says, Casper, you're not steering people. You know what? You're playing with a soccer kid. You like the humans, the fleshies. You're going to steer school. And the uncles are like, you gotta shape up or you gotta pass because our aunt was gone. We don't want to lose you too. So again, it was nice that the uncles actually cared about Casper. So Casper goes to steer school. They go there via this pirate ship with a pirate who has patches on both eyes. Has a parrot named Beaky. This is a kind of a tired running joke. The pirate would yell at the bird, and the parrot would go, "What did I do?" Then the pirate would apologize. "Oh, I apologize. I'm just a pirate." That's a running joke that happens like 5 times. It got old real quick. I'm like, it was barely funny the first time. Casper meets other kids. There's this asshole little turd of a vampire named Thatch, who is deserves a stake to the heart quick. You have this you have this girl who's a zombie. You have this kid who's a mummy named Raw, who has an unraveling problem. Becomes friends with the zombie lady and Raw. And pretty much going through steer school, going through different teachers. There's a gym trap where they have to chase a fake human around. They talk to a figure in a crystal ball. They talk to a dragon who tells about why we have to steer humans. We have to keep this balance. Casper doesn't want to steer people. The headmaster wants to take control of the world and hates this Kibosh character and finds a way to stop him by turning him into stone. Thatch, the little vampire turd, is working with the headmaster trying to get Casper kicked out. Because Thatch was a fucking idiot and tried to bite Casper, and because he's a ghost, it went through and Thatch bit his own tongue. That's a little bit that I did chuckle out of, because the little fucker deserved it. Now, one issue, well, there's a lot of issues. It could be fairly forgettable, dull. I say it's just a harmless, forgettable movie for kids. Like I said, it's nothing to make one mad. The puns are really lame, though. There's some really lame puns. For example, Raw will go, "I'm tomb sick." Instead of homesick, he's tomb sick because he misses his pyramid. Fine, go buy pyramid steam, make you feel better. The dragon is called Mr. Third Degree. Third degree, as in third degree burns. Mr. Third Degree. I'm like, oh, man. That's the dragon teacher that, fuck. So Casper is failing because he doesn't want to steer people, but then he wants to, his friends help him out. So they do this stuff to help scare Thatch, and they placate this big monster and feed him some stuff so that when Casper tries to scare the big monster faces it as part of an act. One thing leads to another, the monsters are taken to Casper's town and they have to scare people, and Casper scares his soccer kid friend. But he feels bad, so he decides to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go to, what was the place called? Valley of the Shadows. He bandages himself in there, and it happens to be a very nice place. Flowers and rainbows and green, the grass is green. People are having fun playing tennis and all that stuff. There's his great aunt, I forget her name. The one the uncles missed. And there's also the uncle, ankle, is that how they pronounce it, ankle? It's the headmaster's aunt and uncle, both heads in one body. And apparently, when they were banished, that's what made the headmaster evil, or come up with this evil scheme. So, the bad guys, the headmaster, needs to test out this weapon, invites Casper's uncles, petrifies all of them into stone. The kids need to go tell Casper. Casper wants to save his uncles. Which I did thought was the right decision of making the uncles actually care about Casper, because that way it's easier to swallow why Casper wants to go back to help. I mean, he would do it because he's a friendly ghost, but because we've seen that they care about Casper at this point. Now, why do they care about Casper when before they treat him like shit? That's never explained. I mean, would have been nice to get an explanation, but oh well. It was a nice change of pace. Bit refreshing. Casper teams up with the kids, and they stop the headmaster. You get this little chase around town. Like I said, it's done on the cheap with the CGI animation. If you look at the trailer, you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into. One bit that I thought was interesting, but they don't really do anything else with it. Before Casper goes in to the Valley of the Shadows, this evil part of him comes up and tries to scare Casper and goes, I'm the monster inside of you. Well, okay, this is kind of interesting idea that maybe there is a part of him that does want to scare, but it's only this one scene that pops up, and Casper's like, no, I don't want to scare, I'm not like you, goes through him, banishes himself. That would have been an interesting story to see more of throughout the film. That this monster wants to get out and he's fighting it and he wants to be friendly. But this one and only scene, that's why it kind of popped out of nowhere, and we didn't have any establishment before, and that would have been nice to see that established before. Because, like, to repeat myself, it just pops out of nowhere, and then you never hear of it again. I'm like, that could be a very interesting piece of character development on Casper, and it's brought up and quickly forgotten. So I think that was a missed opportunity to do more with that. And like I said, the unfunny puns, the animation not being the most eye-pleasing. I think for a lot of people, if you're my age, you're not watching Casper Scare School. And even younger, they may feel it's a bit dull, a bit boring. Like I said, it was easier for me to watch compared to the previous two live-action direct-to-video Caspers. None of them ever came close to the 1995 film. But, like I said, if you have kids and you want to show them a Casper movie and they've seen Casper in 1995 multiple times, if you put this on, you'd be like, okay. But that's, I think, the most reaction you get out of it. Is like, okay, maybe the kid likes it and kid enjoys Casper being Casper, and the vamp. There's nothing in there that's harmful or egregious or well, there's cringeworthy, but juvenile or piss jokes or puke jokes. There's nothing of that nature in it. It's not like there's a lot of product placement. It's not like there's a lot of agendas. Just sadly, even today in kids stuff, there'd be a lot of agenda bullshit. It's harmless. It's meh. It's forgettable. But thankfully, it was short. I'm not sure about Casper's voice. Took me a bit to get used to. Maybe I'm so used to the Casper voice in the 1995 movie. Like I said, there's some stuff I wish was explained more, like why the uncle's so nice to Casper now. Why did we have this whole thing of I'm the monster inside of you, but is never brought up before or after? Also, his human friend Jimmy is a shit friend. He's a little asshole. That's why I was glad that Casper steered the shit out of him. Should have dumped him in the trash can. He's a shit friend because Casper taught him and helped him with his soccer. Then when next he sees Casper's saying they're sending me away and I don't want to go and they're sending me to the school. And then little Jimmy oh, well, you don't just gonna leave me? Huh? You taught me? You're not even gonna watch my game? I'm like, hey, you little twat. This thing, ghost, is being sent to a fucking school, and if he fails, he's, to his knowledge, gonna go to a place where he's banished forever and could get, I don't know, can a ghost get butt fucked? Whatever. Maybe sucked up into a stone and used for it. You don't know what happens in the evil version of Valley of the Shadows. He'll become a fat ghost shadow and sit on him for 24 years. I don't know. And you worry about your fucking soccer games. And what the fuck have you done for Casper? You didn't do shit for him. You just cry like a fucking bitch. Fuck you, Jimmy. Fuck you. Fuck your soccer. I don't use it and we'll kick it in your face. Take your fucking head off, little twat waffle. Fuck Jimmy. He's a shitty friend to Casper. Doesn't do shit for Casper. Except bitch at Casper. Fuck you, Jimmy. So fuck Jimmy. Fuck that little twat. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. It was nice to hear his voice. Him and James Belushi, for a kids movie, it's nothing remarkable, but they had alright banter back and forth. I didn't mind them. Like I say, it wasn't that annoying to me, but maybe because I like both actors. The Stair School would have been nice to see some of the other creatures. Like, there's this one random, looks like creature from the Black Lagoon kid that comes up to Casper and thanks him for help. But like, I've never seen this kid before or since. This creature from Black Lagoon looking little thing. I'm like, okay. Well, so maybe some of the others. Get rid of some of the puns. Like, okay, the pirate has a GPS. Guiding parrot system. Oh my god. I don't know who voiced the parrot, but he sounded like the guy from Kids in the Hole. I don't know if it was, but it sounded like the Kids in the Hole. Go squish your head, go squish. I don't know if it was him. I don't remember the actor's name. But I swear the parrot sounded like the guy from Kids in the Hole. I can't remember, but anyway. Casper Steer School, it is what it is. It was nothing for me to get mad about, but I would not say I liked the film either. I'd never see the film again. But hey, if you're a parent, you want a random kids movie to watch, it's better. I'll watch it more than Hocus Pocus 2. So there you go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.